Yeah. Well, thanks, everyone. Yeah, as John said, today we still got some things cleaning up, but we'd definitely like to try to get it going right at 11. I think we'll be off the field a little bit sooner than we were today. So appreciate that. I hope that works for everyone's schedule. So, we made it through camp, now game prep, and it's been a good week and kind of working through things. And here we are, been waiting for this one for a while, and now it's time for us to go play. We've been banging against each other for a while, and I think these guys are excited and, ready for kickoff.
First game week for Matt. I mean, obviously it's too soon to tell how he's, reacting to being named starter and how he's dealing with that kind of scrutiny you guys are looking from him. But how have you seen him kind of handle daily responsibilities so far?
Well, he's a pretty even keel young man. His highs aren't real high and his lows aren't low, so it's really hard to get a gauge on him. So I think he kind of takes things in stride, and that'll be a good test. I think it's a good opportunity for him to open up at home. He did say there'll be a lot of family and friends here, so I think he's excited about that. But as we know, we need to make sure we surround him with a good plan, and I think we do, and making sure that it's a kind of holistic offensive contribution. We don't put too much on his plate and shoulders too quickly.
What's the biggest challenge Matt's going to face in his first collegiate start?
Well, I think the unknown, especially when you play, when you sometimes play some schools and they have the opportunity to bring in new players and somebody you've never played before, and you're kind of always the first game. You don't know what wholesale changes they might have made schematically and things like that. There's always going to be a lot of unknowns in the first quarter, the first half of the game, and making sure that when we do see them that we've got good answers and he doesn't. Let that affect him as we go through. I think that's some of it. I'm sure he's going to be, excited and I always say if you're nervous a little bit, it's good because it means it's important to you and you want to do well, and then just settling in. But he's just got to get some snaps in game action again, and the game gets a little faster, and things happen since the last time he was playing at full time, from the high school level on. But as we say a lot of times also, you need to trust your training and believe in what's happened, and hopefully through the course of the last whatever year and a half, whatever you want to say it is, 2 fall camps and a spring practice and everything he studied, that he's going to be ready to go.
Dominic Johnson made a few really athletic catches today, as we saw him taking a lot more snaps out wide out. I mean, what have you seen from him so far? I know you've talked about wanting to involve him more in the offense.
Yeah, we're going to line Dominic up in some different places. He's still meeting with Jim Zabrowski about quarterback play. He's a talented athlete, as most of you know, in his contributions to our basketball program. But all those things said, it's his attitude and his work ethic that really makes a difference in our program. He's a team guy. He wants to get on the field and help. But once we had a chance to see him out there, his height, he runs better than I even thought he would. And his ability to go up and get balls, it's a work in progress. Of course, some of that is really, you can tell it's sporadic at times, but I thought today was his best practice, which you'd love to have happen, that he keeps stacking those up, and we'll see how it plays out. But he's going to be out there this game.
How quickly do you think he can make that transition?
It's hard to say. Hope to. We're gonna, like I say, we're gonna throw him to the fire a little bit in there, and in fact, John Fuller and I were just talking on our walk over here about, playing the quarterback position, knowing where guys line up. So the splits and the routes and the depths and just different assignment things there are probably as fast as what you could learn, as opposed to maybe moving a defensive player over to an offensive position based on where you have to start. So, I think that's one thing when quarterbacks do move. And as I said, this was Dominic's idea to try to find a way to get on the field a little bit more. So he's all in. There's no question of apprehension of going about and trying to get it done. We've thrown a lot at him, because now there's technique work, there's blocking assignments, there's probably the other thing he's got to do. He's got to catch a lot of footballs. Okay, he's got to get. A lot of times as quarterbacks, you don't even let them catch it because you're afraid they're going to jam a finger or something. So now you got to try to catch up all those things and learn the little nuances. But I'm excited about what we've seen in a short sample.
Now, Antonio Nunn, going through an injury, recovered injury over the preseason. Will he be ready to go Thursday?
I don't know right now. I'd probably list him as a doubtful.
With the wide receiver group as a whole, how much of that is settled, and how much are you going into this game looking to see what guys can do?
We're going to see how guys can do. We're going to play a lot of guys out there. I think some guys have shown they can separate, but some of it's game action to see how they respond to it. Some has been that guys have been in and out of practice in camp. I've said that along when we were talking about the quarterback situation, that we just haven't had really I look back and my time as a head coach, just because the volume of running and other things, this kind of happens in some years with wide receivers, especially when you have younger wide receivers or new receivers in the program with how we practice and do stuff. Sometimes you just don't get everybody out there every day, and we'll see. But it's a group that is going to continue to get better. I like where the group's at this point, but now we got to see when the lights go on how they play.
The one freshman in that group is Marlon Johnson. What did he do, particularly as a freshman, to put himself in that position?
Well, I think from the day he arrived on campus midsummer, you could see that he gives us that bigger body that we look for, ability to make contested catches. He runs a little bit better than maybe we anticipated. And I think kind of just off the other thing I just said, Paul, is that he was there every day, and as he got a chance to get those reps and showing, he's shown that he has ability to be durable and work hard every day. And we want to make sure that we continue to develop him.
Mike Nowitzki listed first on the center. What did he do to win that job over Dan Clifford?
Mike is, Mike's one of those that, as I kind of look at everything that you're probably looking at, I don't even get that. I'm going to make sure it's all there, but that's okay, John. We'll be fine. Mike is from the day he got here, and again, for people that may not know, Mike Nowitzki was a high school tight end. And that was one of the first real total projections that we made in the recruiting, that we're say we're going and we told them from the start we're going to recruit you as an offensive lineman. And then when it started to happen, it took about 4 practices last year to figure out that we had ourselves a pretty talented young man, and worked hard to put on the weight and do things, and he's worked hard and shown that. And whether it be Dan Clifford or Jacob Gall, who could play there as well, we just feel right now that, he's won that job, and he's extremely athletic. And that's the part of between playing tight end, playing lacrosse in high school, and a lot of different things. He's, and now we're surrounded with some veterans around there. We're excited about him as well as the other guys. So he flat out came out and won the job, made he's taking command of things. And, right now, it feels it gives us the best chance to win.
Being that he played tight end, how much of a learning curve is there from the mental aspect?
Well, there was plenty. I really think last year, we did a lot with him. James O'Hagan did a great job of kind of taking him under his wing. And, I don't know if there's been a better guy that I can remember in my coaching career that worked at it and watched film and put in the extra time and showed up every day than James O'Hagan. So he saw it from the best. And as we went through the year, we got him in a couple times in some games last year. And again, we've been excited about him. That really kind of eased some of our, I don't want to say fears, but our concerns as, okay, what are we going to do when James O'Hagan leaves this program? We have really felt good about Mike and what he was going to bring. And I think Jacob Gall did the same thing when he got pressed into action at Central Michigan last year, that we felt we were really starting to develop the depth that we needed in the offensive line.
With a pretty inexperienced wide receiver core with none out, put kind of a lot more pressure on the running backs, and you do have a lot of experience in that, in that aspect, but how are you guys going to kind of lean more on the backs?
Well, I don't think we'd be fooling anybody if you think we're going to, want to establish a run game and make sure we get it to some of the guys that have been productive. We talk a lot, and probably rightfully so at this point, until we get some proven play at the FBS level, I guess, at the wide receiver position. We'll continue to talk about it on a weekly basis. But as I put the running backs and Jared Patterson and Kevin Marks and the guys behind them, where I really feel we have great depth, we're going to use guys in many different ways, and the one that also kind of helps alleviate the inexperience at receiver is going to be the tight ends. And like I said, I think Zach LaFave continues to get better, and what he's really getting better at is rounding out his whole game. He's really worked hard at the blocking aspect of things. Healthy Julian Barraza, we lost Julian last year, about a quarter way through the year, a third of the way through the year last year. We asked Julian to drop a little weight. I think we asked him to carry too much weight. He's moving well. Jake Mullinich will always have a role in our offense. So that's a group of guys as well that can take some of the pressure and take snaps away from some of the three receiver sets that we may use as we continue to develop that group.
Have you named captains yet?
Yes, we did. We just named them today. They will be Coyote Awashika, Matt Outwinoski, James Patterson, Jared Patterson, and Ladarius Mack. Extremely excited about them because they encompass a lot of things that you want in your captains, and it's great that their teammates recognize that. Okay? It's doing it right on the field, doing it right off the field, how you conduct yourself. How visible you are. Those are some of the most visible guys that we have in community service opportunities. Those are guys that play the game, I think, the way we want it played, extremely hard with great effort. They don't talk about it. They go out and play it. They're about it in their actions. So I want to commend our team for recognizing that as well, and I'm excited about, that was one of the things that we had talked about as we move forward, was where were we going to get all our leadership from, and I think that has started to establish itself. It doesn't mean that others are not leaders and will not lead along the way, but that's a good group to start with.
How unusual is it for a pair of sophomores to be captains in your experience?
Yeah, I can't really say I remember it, but that's kind of how we opened it up and through some of our things based on, as partially maybe, you could look at it one way, Paul, about year in school, but we could also evaluate it by snaps on the field. And the things, as we said, James and Jarrett were mid-year enrollees after their, so they, technically it's their third year out of high school. So part of me looks at them as, third-year guys. So, but, the way they, as we've always said, the way they go about it, the maturity they handled, even last season playing, the year that they weren't enrolled in school, all the things that their parents have instilled in them, it gives them that foundation, and they've continued to develop the confidence to be leaders and set examples, but also vocalize that to their teammates. And I've seen that demonstrated during camp, and very pleased with that.
With a freshman starting quarterback, is this new territory at all for you?
Somebody asked that one other time to me. Was it you? Okay, I probably didn't answer it correctly then either. Probably in a while, in a long time, probably since I was a grad assistant, not as a head coach. I can remember back when I played and I had an opportunity like that, so I kind of understand where all these questions are, and I've kind of looked at that, and we've talked about it as a staff. Just like when I talked to the other quarterbacks about who wasn't going to start, Jim Zabrowski and I, who played quarterback as well, we talked about, because we sat in that chair too when you're told that you didn't, or you're not keeping the job, or you didn't get it. And so a lot of those things I think we try to empathize with and look at it, how we surround them. But, with the redshirt year and things like that, We did get Matt out there a few times, so I don't view it that way. Once they're around, as much as they're around us, you start to eliminate what year in school they are, and you got to go play. And the other thing I said is, when you really look around the country right now, there's a lot of people starting younger quarterbacks, for whatever reason that is.
Tyree Jackson, when he was a redshirt freshman, didn't start the first game, came in midway through that game. Would that experience factor in at all? Did you think back at how that played out?
No. In all openness, what happened in that game to Grant Rohach is what I did. I did not want that to happen to Tyree Jackson. I told that to Tyree. So did the decision not work out maybe accordingly? Probably in all of your minds and some of our fans. But at the same time, we turned the ball over late in the game as well when we were going in to win the game. And there was some young mistakes made as well. And holistically, those things played into us not winning that game. So, yeah, there were some things. I guess if you're asking me, well, you didn't start the redshirt freshman last time, so now you're going to do it this time. I don't think that's the way you need to operate as a head coach. You have to take each situation, evaluate it for where it is at that particular time. I think you look at the body of work of, we'll see how it plays out. But I like to think we're a different program than we were in 2016. I feel confidently that we are. We've got to go make sure that that happens, but this program's in a lot different place than it was in 2016.
Coach, looking at the defensive line, you have some seniors that are backups and experience with the Darius Mack, Deshaun Foxworth. How much do you look to utilize that in the rotation, and how is that bring along some of these young guys?
A lot. You see, the other thing is I'm kind of like you guys, and if you follow things nationally, and some people aren't even releasing two deeps anymore. They're just, and whatever. Especially if there's one place it's really hard to have a starter and a not, it's defensive line. Because if you've watched us play, it's going to be X amount of plays and somebody's rotating. So there's a lot of games depending on the rotation and the snaps or down in distance. The backup may play more than the starter. So those things so any of those guys in those the first two deep at those positions are going to play, if not 50-50, it's going to be 60-40 snaps. So those guys are going to be important. DeSandre Foxworth, I thought, has had an excellent camp. He's been slowed by some injuries himself. He was probably Chibuzi Onwuka is really he's gotten back to being healthy and showing what he was doing early last season. And while Foxworth was out, Chibuzi was playing really well, and so that's kind of where the flip happened in the defensive line. So, but yeah, they're all going to help and have roles. I'm excited to watch that front four play. I really am. Ronald McGee's a junior college transfer, enrolled last semester, has been here for his spring. I like what he's going to bring to the table as well with that group. So Tyrese Woods is a true freshman, also was an early enrollee last year. He's going to see the field. So there's some guys there, Friendy Darlis is a guy that's battled injuries in this program. He's finally getting close to getting his opportunities. Walk-on Eric Black has played really well, and he's nipping on the heels of people to get some snaps. So I like where that's at. Now they got to go out and prove it.
Will you be awarding the 41 jersey this year?
Yes. Taylor Riggins right now is hopefully going to be wearing that jersey. So we've got a couple things we got to work through yet to get that done, but that's who we've designated. If it doesn't happen for some reason, we'll make sure that it is a second game. I'll make sure that John lets all of you know as that plays out.
Giovanni Ruiz, any update on his injury?
Yeah, I can say, Giovanni's going to have surgery here, and he'll be lost for the season.
Coach? Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate it.